Hey there, everybody, and welcome here to the Sub-Saharan African Call of Duty Mobile Challenge brought to you by the good folks at Call of Duty Mobile, as well as Carry1st and us folks here on the ACGL side of things, taking care of business. I'm joined by the ever-present, the delightful, the gent himself, the man with the helicopter, as well as the smile and the Uno reverse cards, Mr. Daddy Cool. How you doing?
How do you know? Hi, I'm doing good, and yourself? I'm excited to be here again for my second cast of the Call of Duty Mobile, as I do believe this is the first round of the losers bracket.
Yeah, so we're in business end of the competition now, is where teams are actually going to be playing for their life in the competition, and we've had some fantastic action so far in terms of the bracket overall. Being able to see those top teams going through, Zero Remorse as well as Cyclone Gaming now will face off against one another in the winners bracket final. But the matches that we're focusing on today is Game 8 and Game 9, which is none other than Cast Esports taking on EG Destroyers and Incognito taking on NATO. Now, we mentioned a little bit earlier, this is where I think the heartbeats are going to be pumping a little bit higher. The prize pool is there, it's waiting, it's still in everybody's hands, but now it's going to slip out of a few. That prize pool being 5,000 Rand in first place, second place with 3,000 Rand, third place 2,000 Rand. The MVP award will earn themselves 1,000. We're going to need your support on that side of things to be able to vote out for that MVP. But now Cast Esports, EG Destroyers. So both of these teams have shown some decent skills in the past. Cast Esports, if anything, it was a little bit of a surprise coming in as the number 1 seed and falling down. Now, going into this game, this is what we talk about, that reverse sweep moment, but now they're going to do it almost like on a bracket style. They're up against the wall, going up against EG Destroyers. It should be a good match, but starting things off, I mean, is there anything that you're looking forward to out of either one of these teams?
Cast Esports versus Elite Gamers Destroyers, you say. I mean, one team has a more, looking at this, like this, these images, one team has a more intimidating name, but one team has definitely a more intimidating logo. So if I were going purely on intimidation, they're both equal, so that makes it pretty tough for me right now. But I don't know, like you say, if Cast was a favorite to win it, I've seen in various other esports tournaments, I've loved Dota for a long time. Teams who are favorites and then drop into the losers bracket somehow are the most overpowered teams. It felt like if you fall into lower bracket, you feel like you have to play for your life, like you've already alluded to, and that just makes some teams shine. So I'm thinking if you're here in the losers bracket, Cast, and they were favored to win, they're probably now sitting there like, okay, yeah, we've got something to prove, and we're playing for like our life depends on it. Like I said as well, I think you said in our last stream together, as a procrastinator, I feel like being in the losers bracket is the same as being a procrastinator. You know, it's that like you only perform really in crunch time, and this is crunch time right now, as they do realize they might not even get a penny in their pocket if they get eliminated today. So yeah, I'm excited to see all this action, and both these teams are probably definitely going to be bringing everything they have to the table.
Yeah, and fighting for that penny in their pocket is ultimately what they're competing for. But when it comes down to the Cast Esports team, is that one of the things is I don't think that they were too happy after chatting to the players a little bit after the fact that they didn't have their full squad going into that game 1 against Rage, where Rage came out dominant. Yes, we had the Search and Destroys that went, I think, back and forth. I think there was a 24-round Search and Destroy at one point in time. Let's see what we're going to be able to do when it comes down to Cast taking on EG Destroyers. Should be an exciting game. Remember, in that first round of the bracket, essentially Rage taking them down 3-1. And on the opposite side, when it came down to EG Destroyers, they had a very, very closely fought game up against Zero Remorse, which found them essentially losing out 3-2. So both of these teams quite fierce in their own right. They're number 1 and number 4 seeds, so they should definitely not be versing up against one another in the losers bracket round 1. But hey, it is the time of the World Cup, and we've seen upsets on the World Cup side of things. Let's see if those skins are also going to be rocking up in Call of Duty Mobile here today. We've got some Paul Pogba, Lionel Messi, and I believe Neymar as well to be able to show their faces. So let's see if any of these players can pull an upset of their own.
I just love how Call of Duty Mobile can do what they want, the skins. Yeah. They went that like almost Valorant route where they're like, you know, we're not in a specific timeline, a specific universe. We are Call of Duty Mobile. We do what we want. We've got freaking real life soccer players. We've got guns from World War I all the way onto the future. I saw like a laser beam gun. Everything goes, and I love it. I keep feeling I have to do this for some odd reason. Every time I think Call of Duty Mobile, it's like, rad! Anyway, so yeah, these matches today are going to be pretty exciting. Excited. Lobby is pretty much getting ready, if I can confirm with my admin. And yeah, so yeah, as we've been talking a bit, you know, the Call of Duty Mobile being kind of a newer esports on the scene, obviously, and it's a whole new set of players as well. That's another thing I've absolutely loved seeing. Like names I've obviously never seen that have played on other platforms, and this just means that there's more opportunity for people to make esports a career. And I just love that Call of Duty Mobile is enabling that. And again, it's so accessible. It's on your phone. Who doesn't have a phone nowadays? And you don't even need that good of a phone to be playing, to be playing even at a competitive level. So genuinely excited to see the future of Call of Duty Mobile, and so glad to be able to cast it. Thank you for having me, and ACGL and Carrie first, setting all of this up, making it all possible.
Yeah, and I mean, we're happy to have you here, but also just happy to have these players being able to showcase themselves here today. And if you're joining in as just one of the spectators going, how do I actually start playing this competitively? You're more than welcome to head over to the platform. We have tournaments pretty much on a weekly basis where we're hosting for Call of Duty Mobile on our side of things. This is strictly an invitational and just talking about how did this really come about. So when it came down to the conversations of putting Saharan Africa on the map, of course we had South African servers from this side of things, so getting very, very excited when those got announced. I believe it was around about 2 months ago, and just giving these players an opportunity to play on a lower ping altogether. Most of the time, especially if you're based in Southern Africa, you would find yourself playing on very high pings when it comes down to connectivity on the European side. Now, when it comes down to what we have, we've got servers in Africa, servers in South Africa, and it's a good celebration of that. So bringing across some of the best teams that have historically been known to be, the title contenders, the top players, and they're all here today. The top 8 teams being able to compete. We've got Cast Esports, EG Destroyers as game number 1. Should be a little bit of a highlighted match. I believe we've got Cast Esports players in the lobby. They were the early birds, ready and set to go. We're waiting on a couple of players from EG Destroyers and just getting the call in. That should be going down in around about 2 minutes. But having a little bit of a look at the maps, I'm not too sure if we can confirm them just yet. Maybe we'll just find out from our director on that side of things. Just to find out if we can give the call-outs of these maps, because I'm seeing some interesting ones. At least map number 1, unless they send their vetoes in very, very late, we might be going to Shoot House on Hardpoint.
I like a shoot house. I like a shoot house, and I'm almost going. We're guaranteed to see a raid sometime during the day today. Am I right? Raid is right. Just we said it last time as well. Raid is just the map. I don't know what Treyarch did the day they invented that map, but they were on. They had the right mindset, and it's just been a favorite in the franchise since day one. It's been in I think it was Black Ops 2. So so excited, so good to see it here on mobile, and I feel like they basically copied it to the T. I love it. It's so good, and I'm excited. The word of the day is excited. I'm pretty sure. It's
a good word for us to have. But I think one of the things, let's go into, now we're about to settle into the game. It's a good time for us to start talking about some of the predictions that we might be having, especially for you at home. Those of you that are tuned in, we want to find out in the chat. Yes, we do keep an eye on chat. We've had that question out a couple of times. We got it in the corner of our eye. What are your predictions? Who do you think is going to be able to take this game out of this best out of 5 series? Do you think it is going to be EG for the win, or is it going to be Cast for the win? I want to find out your predictions in chat. Daddy, do I dare just based on logos alone, or which way are you going to be able to throw this one into?
For me, after you told me Cast has number 1 seed, but now EG also has number 4, that's pretty high up. Usually the margins between these top teams are so minimal that like you said, it's 8 teams being invited, right? The skill between team 1 and 8 is usually so minimal. It's almost arbitrary at that point. So I don't know. Hey, I just feel if you have the name Destroyer in your name, so I'm gonna be going off the name, not the logo today. My money is on Destroyers, but no casters curse. Okay, none of that. This is
maybe it's the Cast curse. Who knows? At that point in time, there we go. We're gonna have some punny ones here today, ladies and gentlemen, as we cross into the game any second now. I believe we've got to count around about 1 minute until we jump in, and we'll be able to kick off with this very first game. It's going to be some Hardpoint on Shoothouse. Now, taking a look overview in terms of what does this mean? Essentially, if you're the winner of this competition overall, you get to basically say, hey, we're the Sub-Saharan African champions, which is a huge title to be able to go in your back pocket, especially at the end of the year. You feel like it's a little bit of an extra present, maybe being gifted for yourself over the festive season. So, and also, who knows, probably once you win your prize pool, everybody's going to be looking at you around the Christmas tree and being like, oh, what are we going to get? always going to be one of those just in the savings for the back pocket.
Don't, guys, if you win anything, don't tell anybody. You know, everybody's suddenly your friend. Pro tip here. So yeah, I mean, not only are they getting that, they can say, they'll be like, yeah, no, I won this tournament. Oh, did you get it for? Fortunately not. You know, esports just isn't where it should be yet. Meanwhile, we know it's definitely somewhere. I mean, every year it's getting bigger. The prize pools are getting bigger. The teams are getting better. I just love it. I sometimes just want to see some of the the pros we used to know go against some of the pros of today. Kind of feeling they got a good role, eh? Because people are cracked nowadays. We didn't have G Fuel back in my day, you know. We only had coffee.
All right, so does sound like we didn't get the full list of the EG Destroyers team in, so it does look like we might need to start game number 1 short-handed. The teams, or rather the players, will have the opportunity to be able to join throughout the respawn game mode, but we have hit past our time to be able to allow any more delays. So we should be going into game number 1 in any second now. Ladies and gentlemen, also for those of you that are based in Durban, we do currently have an activation taking place at DUT that you're more than welcome to be able to join. But it does look like we're going straight into the game, and representing from Cast Esports in blue, it's going to be Boogers, Daddy, Void, Mies, Shaz, and Unts. And then on the opposite side of things, we got Aegon, Steve's, Rogue, as well as, I believe that's Alpha. So, it's going to be Cast Esports starting with a numerical advantage here on Shoot House, and it's going to be Aegon trying to do some work, and it's literally going to have to rely on at least one of these players per respawn picking up a 2-piece.
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, Shootouts, what a classic map. It's also one of the newer maps that people have just loved from the beginning. Has been in, and it's such an intense map. It's again that beautiful 3-lane. We see here that Mies is holding this middle lane, trying to keep people off. That mid position is so dangerous. You're so exposed, but you can also keep so many people off the site, and he did a good job there. But now they're actually opting to not even be. None of the teams are on this side because they realize this next site for me personally is one of the biggest point farms. If you can get on there first, it's so easy to hold, and it's so difficult to get onto. So both teams did prioritize that, and it seems that the team of the Destroyers are on it first now to get themselves some points for the next point.
I do believe that is actually Cast. So Cast is represented in blue. We've got Destroyers on the right-hand side in yellow. And at the moment, the Destroyers are breaking this hill, but it's going to rely on player number 5 to be able to come up clutch. They've got a little bit of a head-to-head confrontation at this point in time. The spawns are actually going out, and that is going to be, wow, the Destroyers actually rolling their way through and being able to pick up that one. So really big hill from their side of things. And it does look like, however, Cast managed to retake, and that's probably what we're going to see quite a lot of. It's this back and forth between the two teams, but when it comes down to numerical advantage, Cast Esports currently sitting in the top spot.
Definitely, we see here that, like I said, actually this hill is going back and forth for a bit, but now it seems like Cast has actually been able to completely lock it down for themselves, and they pull ahead with a 20-point lead, almost 30 points at this point. And now we see that the teams are rotating over to the next points along. Again, this point is one of the tricky ones. It's a bit more easy to get onto at least. Hopefully both teams are off. They don't even want the scraps. They only care about the big bucks in the bag. But we see here that Cast once again is on the next point already, and now Destroyers have to try and get on, and most of them are down right now. They need to slow themselves back a bit and get their bearings together so they can overtake or overwhelm the side together as a team. As we see the mini-map, it seems like they're going in one by one, but now they are doing the full push together as a team. And the Annihilator in hand as well. This should be able to get them a point on there's one down so far. He spots the second one, gets a second one, but he's getting flanked potentially in his back. Oh, his teammate protects him so beautifully. And now there's good it's a shot. Then another shot, and it's a headshot as well. That is definitely how they're going to get themselves. And there they are on the point now. Destroyers finally on this point. They cleared it off. Beautiful Annihilation gameplay there.
Yeah, huge coming in there from the EG Destroyers team, or EG, just being able to make sure that they can pick up the eliminations, but 20 seconds still remaining on the hill. This should go comfortably into Cast Esports' favor, as it's all about now the rotations. Where are we going to head to next? As we should get that as the 10 seconds does pop up in terms of the clock, as it does look like we're more than likely going to head back to the southern point of the hill, and that is going to be, I think, that little scrapyard hill where it gets very tight and confrontational. Need to put in a couple of trophy systems, as this is where the nades tend to fly in.
Oh yeah, the trophy system is so important. The nades, the flashes, your screen is more white than it is the normal colors of the map when you get on this point. And now we see again, Ghost, they are on it right now. Clearly they have that #1 seeding for a reason, and they are the full team like you mentioned, and they are here to show why they have the #1 seeding. They are just completely keeping them off the map. We can see the action in the mini-map. as the team of Destroyers can't even get close to the side point.
Yeah, and I think that's all about just trying to control the zone. But at the moment, they're committing 3 people into the zone. It seems like 2 roamers that are generally going out. And it doesn't seem like EG can cope. But the thing is, as soon as you have those roamers that are too far away, you can't really trade it out. And that allows EG to be able to come into the kill and pick up what could be another 20 seconds of time. Now, the question for the good old Cast Esports team is going to be, do we keep contesting or do we hold this point? And you can see this is a lovely setup and there's a lot of cover and they want to hold these spawns at the moment, does Cast Esports.
Definitely. We do note though that Destroyers are 1 player down, so given that, they're actually putting a really good fight right now. They're having 53 points on the board, continuously flushing Cast off, but not able to keep them off completely. As you see there, they're getting ready to pursue this. Now, this is such an insane chokehold. I usually like to flank around, get the opening from there as he has more options to work with. But look at player 4, he's taken off, and Steez is now doing that flank we're talking about. And
he really went for quite a Lord of the Rings walk all the way around, and unfortunately for him, not being able to come up with elimination needed just to be able to break that heal. Mees putting in some big work, currently using that Krieg 6. Rogue is going to be able to trade that one out as Steez now tries to make their way in. It is currently 20 seconds left on the clock, and it's a good amount of time to be able to chunk down, but it does seem like Cast Esports hold on to it. They don't really need a challenge, but they're going to send a full blue wave to do exactly that, and it doesn't look like the Claw Aquatic is going to be able to actually find its mark there, as it's all just about scrap time. Daddy Void comes up big with the triple.
Love to see those triples in the kill feed. And now they got those few scraps, and now it's on to the next one. It's the first heal again. This heal is an interesting one. It's in the middle, but somehow it feels the most controllable of all the heals. I don't know why. And now they're actually here. They have this middle brick. I think it's this middle brick here that he's actually using as a head glitch right now that really allows you to play around and play it so well. And here we see again now Destroyers are falling all over the map, and they need to get their bearings together. Player 1 right now, he could find an opening for his team if he plays it right here. Rogue rushing in, but gets taken out there and gets straight at least. Shaz down. Now Aegon going through middle, trying to get onto the side. And now Destroyers are actually on the side. They're getting themselves some points, but they're getting flushed off again.
So about that heal, this heal in particular, the thing that I really liked from Cast Esports is as they came in, they threw the smoke on the opposite side of where they spawned, just to cut down that long line of sight that goes through directly in that center court, that middle lane, as so you would refer to it. And just being able to keep that out of the game, saying, hey, you know what, if you want to get in this heal, you're going to have to come trade 1-for-1. And as long as they're committing numbers into the heal, they know that they've got that numerical advantage. Really, really smart play from Cast Esports.
Definitely, and we have an Annihilator hand again here on Destroyers. And we saw earlier how that was able to destroy them. And this is the heal we're talking about. How early did Cast like completely leave the previous heal just to get on this one? Because I think everybody knows this is the heal for points, and they are on it right now, getting themselves a lot in the bag.
You can see at the moment this is a spawn differential between both of these teams, and it's going to be down to can they get within this chokehold in time. It's player number 5, I believe, here from Cast, Unz, or rather Units, going to get taken down, and unfortunately for them, this does look like it's going to be a heal that goes in favor of EG, so that's huge. But just like that, from the back, it gets traded out, but still, it's going to be this EG team holding on here with the CBR in hand, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to hold on for long enough. It's all raining in blue at this point in time as Cast Esports, I got to say, with the numerical advantage, I don't know if they can take this as a positive win. I mean, yes, a win is a win at the end of the day, but I mean, on the other side of things, EG Destroyers is only 80 points separating between themselves, and it should be more, especially at this high level of gameplay.
Definitely. Well, this is more for me about EG and how their mentality is so good right now. They're not letting this number disadvantage, you know, put them back. They're actually just bringing more to the table, and really well played to them so far. We do have the lead here on Cast, but it's not, like you said, it's not as big as you would expect. And again, EG should be really proud of their performance so far.
Ooh,
this feels here by Cast getting this angle with the Krieg. Krieg is such a classic gun. It's just so old, reliable, and this is one of the points I feel people get the least amount of points on. It's such a
back and forth usually, yeah,
and it almost feels like it's more empty. It's like the actual zone of the zone is very, very small. If you want to peek an angle, you're not on the zone. You have to stand on the zone, just almost sacrifice your life to get those points, and team of Cast were able to do that quite well. All
right, so at the moment, containers will essentially get held up here by Alpha. who turns around and unfortunately finds himself with bullets in his back, as at this point in time it is going to be only 31 points that separates Cast Esports from taking this map number 1 as they jump inside the hill and get that numerical advantage ticking ever so further. At the moment you can see already Cast have rotated towards next, and Alpha is probably in the best position to try challenge here, but will get taken down as Mies has really performed well throughout. I mean, at the moment, in terms of taking a look, Daddy Void with 30 eliminations in the back pocket, but Mies 45. Huge.
That's a lot of kills. Again, team of... you see that there's a 13 and a 15 on well at the side of Cast, where all the players almost have that 30 bomb, close to that 30 on the team of the EG. So again, really well performed, and they're only 9 points off. But we see here that both these teams aren't prioritizing points that much, really. They're almost like prioritizing getting off the points, clearing the team out, and then go picking up points again. It's not about sticking on the side. It's about keeping the other team away, getting points, flushing them away again, getting points. It's not like one continuous stream of points, but really well played there to Cast taking game 1.
Yeah, Cast taking game 1, and Mies definitely standing head and shoulders above his teammates there on that side of things, using that Krieg and just really doing some work and giving us some great dance moves to be able to match. Somebody's smashing a guitar on the left-hand side. Shaz is going absolutely ballistic. So really good game from Cast. Just it is slightly dampened by the fact that EG didn't have their one player, but also looking at EG's side of things, Aegon doing his utmost, gets 34 eliminations, and not too bad considering that they were up against the wall for the most of that match.
Definitely not. Mies getting 50 kills as well against less players is also pretty impressive. Yeah. 50 kills, a 50 bomb, that's a lot of kills. He was really playing well, and again, he wasn't playing sight. He was flushing the team off, and he was doing these jobs so well there, making sure that the team can't even get onto the site. Really well played there by Mies.
Yeah, big plays, and now it comes down to search and destroy, ladies and gentlemen. So things are going to slow down a little bit as we get ready to take to map number 2. Should be a good one here as these teams kick off in this game for the very first search and destroy. It is going to be the map that Daddy Cool absolutely loves. Well, what is it called? It's got 4 letters.
Something raid.
Yeah, there we go.
The one. So excited.
Backwards, it's Dire. Is that right? D-I-A-R.
Diara. Yeah, mate.
Guys, sorry, guys. Random thoughts entering their head on this Saturday at this point in time. But it does look like we've got the teams just about ready to be able to jump into this map number 2. And just as a little bit of a reminder, these teams are fighting for their life in the bracket. Just to be able to provide a little bit of context to you, let's have a little bit of a look at that bracket as we can see who they face next. Now, this is what I get excited about, is whoever progresses from here goes up against Valencia Esports. And Valencia's a really good team in their own right. However, we saw that game, and I think I was casting that with you, Mr. Daddy Cool, that Cyclone Gaming versus Valencia. It was a much closer game in a lot more respects than the 3-0 is deservedly showing. But Valencia's not a team that you want to write off in your own right. So the narrative's only starting now for these teams. And in the other game, we've got Rage Esports awaiting whoever is the winner of Incognito taking on NATO, a game that we're going to cast for you in a little bit as well.
Oh, all these. I feel like the Call of Duty mobile teams have the best names so far. They all have these badass names. Yeah, it's just fantastic. But yeah, I'm excited to see how Valencia can, like you said, it was a 3-0, but those rounds are very, very close. I do hope, though, the current game that we're playing right now, that Cast gets their EG gets their player in. So for the next search and destroy, again, you want to have, if you're fighting for your life, like we said, this is loser's bracket. It's all or nothing now. You want to have your team there. Hopefully they get those technical issues sorted. And yeah, we're going on to search and destroy. Do we see a bit of overtime today? What do you think are going to happen with these teams?
I think if we have a clean 5-5, we might see exactly that. Actually, that's a huge opportunity for destroyers to get back into this. And if anything, Cast Esports in the previous search and destroy, they've been a team that always fights back. And it does look like our wish has been granted. All right, so having a little bit of a look, we've got, my gosh, that Iris, your photo is ridiculous. It's like an elven old Lionel Messi in the photo. It's ridiculous. All right, so at the moment, it is going to be Cast Esports that are on the attack, and it does look like they're going to be making a B-bomb side push here at the moment, whereas on the opposite side of things, EG Destroyers doesn't look like they've committed anybody towards B. So No wonder why Cast Esports are walking around like, excuse me, did they load into the map? Are we?
Maybe the side of destroyers is just of Cast is very confident in the retake of B. Sometimes if a team is confident in their ability to retake, they'll commit on the defense on a different side. And right now it looks like that's happening. Was a bomb planted at least?
Bomb has been planted, yeah.
Okay, so now they have to play against time. Nade gets chucked in here, gonna choke off another player. Now it's a 3v3 situation, and
Void
falling.
So it's going to be Void as well as Iris up in... Actually, no, it's now a 1v3 situation. Steez is on the opposite side. This is going to be a very difficult one to go for solo. Oh, whips it out. Iris comes up with that 1v1. And now spots out Aegon, not going to be able to come out with the defuse in time. And that first round, it's going to be EG Destroyers taking that search and destroy round.
That was a very interesting, like we mentioned very early, it's they completely abandoned B. I don't know if it was miscommunication or maybe just a bit of a confidence again that they could play the retake. But now this time it seems like, oh guys, we probably need somebody on B. It's like, oh yeah, you're probably right. And now they are spreading all over the map. Actually, this time they're kind of abandoning A. As I do, no, never mind, there they are. See, we see here that Steez is trying to get one pick off. He finds his one pick so far. Now it is a Gorillas EG are really showing they are got it right now. They are coming back. We're 5 now and we're hungry.
Yeah, and at the moment it's going to be down to Void all alone here on the search and destroy. He's got the sniper rifle in hand. Oh, and already picks down one.
The bomb has been planted.
And is such a good player with the sniper rifle. I had the privilege to be able to see him live, and the man's fingers do some proper crazy work. So now trying to make his way in towards the site. Not too sure where these players are. It is a 3v1 and they're quite well spread out. Picks up the one shot. Now turns around. Spots out a player just around the corner. Comes up with the second. Has a defusal opportunity here.
Just has to find out where the last player is. And the Naked's going to kind of flush him off. He buy himself time. He's getting the defuse.
Oh, Void, Daddy Void. No wonder why they call him Daddy. Coming out with all the plays here today. And comes out with the defuse. What a clutch. A 1v3 takes down the 2 and also gets the defuse.
You guys heard it here first. If you have Daddy in your name, you're guaranteed to be good at gaming. Just a secret little pro tip. That's my secret. I'm not actually good at it just because of the name. But you see here we have... Oh, wow. Iris pushing so early. Yeah. Yo, they are full aggressive now. They do not... Oh, my.
Ooh.
Iris, calm down. You're supposed to be defending. But he doesn't care.
Cast Esports just pushing through, and now it's going to be Iris on an absolute spree. Picks up 3 eliminations, gets back behind the one player, and not going to be able to pick up the 4th there. But Cast Esports, they make quick work of that. Once the mop got cleaned out, maybe it was just the inspiration from Daddy Void to be able to get them through that one. But now it's still... Remember, when it comes down to the rounds outline, we play 6 rounds of attack and 6 rounds of defense without rotation. And once we go into sudden death, that's when the rotation starts to kick in. And at the moment, it's 2-1 in favor of Cast Esports.
Don't worry, Aegon, nobody saw that nade. Nobody. Not a single soul. But yeah, no, so sometimes, even though you're on the fence, you just need to believe in your own gun skill and your aggression. And that's what Cast did there. But now, again, I think they're just playing it really well right now by changing the pace of every round. EG can't get a read on what they're doing. And but now it's the side of EG saying, you know what, we can play aggressive on S&D as well. We don't need to plant. If everybody's dead, we win the round as well. Look at this bomb. This bomb is in the enemy spawn right now, and they're like, hey, maybe we should not take bomb into enemy spawn. And they see like they're going to go try and find the plant A. And now it's a 1v4 situation. Boogers has to go against 4. We've seen players clutch us out. Let's see if Boogers can do the same.
All right, Boogers with some big work to be able to do, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen, as it's going to be Curia, or Curia? It's a difficult one for me, to be able to clutch out that one. Unfortunately, not going to be the case. Daddy Void still the clutch master, it seems, of the game so far. Things are tied up at 2 apiece. We asked a question a little bit earlier. I mean, if it was 5v5, are we going to see overtime? It very much does seem that that is very possible here today.
You love to see these one-round trades. Oh, look at that great recoil control there by Mies. Takes out the player mid now. Mid control is in the hands of Cast. And he's pushing up again a bit further. He doesn't... They don't care about these, these lines of being crossed. They just want... Oh, my word. There's only 2... It's a 5v2 situation. Okay, we have 1 trade so far. Alpha getting 1 so far. He spots out another one. Playing this head glitch really, really well. Can he keep playing it, though? Will he be able to get some more kills from here and equalize it for his team? But he is getting surrounded right now.
Oh, what?
Oh, and Aegon comes to his aid on the back, and Iris is right behind him. Hopefully, they can trade each other out. And,
Wow, they really overcommitted there, did the Cast Esports lineup, and EG just, I mean, the play of the head glitch, as you called that out, inside of the water was absolutely phenomenal there coming in from EG. And it does look like we've got a game on our hands, as it is still the last round of attack versus defense here. And after this, we're going to swap around, and, you know, games usually favor the defending side, so when it comes down to Cast Esports, it's not looking too great for them at this point in time.
Definitely. I actually thought, by the way, the Cars had the number advantage of the previous round, that they won that round, but yo, the way EG just held it was beautiful. Oh, he misses a few shots there. Booger getting him traded out. This is the first plant. Okay, except for round 1. But I feel like round 1 was a bit of a fluke with the B side being left open. But this is the first plant we've seen this game. Both these teams don't care about the objective. They just care about the kills. And they are really getting a lot of them right now. We have Boogers again. Boogers is in a 1v4 situation, and he's not able to clutch it up for his team. That is 4-2 for EG. EG came to play.
Yeah, now we're going to swap around, and that's huge on the attacking side of things. Picking up 4 rounds is absolutely massive when it comes down to raid. But now on the defensive side of things, I've got to say, this is looking really, really solid for EG, that if they keep on going like this, they'll pick up their first map of the series.
They definitely will. We see here the Daddy Void trying to find a pick and angle with his sniper right now, and Booger's trying to flank around as well, trying to find the clearance. He finds the first kill so far. That's a 5v4 now for EG, no, in favor of Cost, but that is a trade-off right now. Aegon keeping him here and realizing he's getting pushed, backing off. Really well played. You don't have to stay in one spot. Now it's a 4v3 situation in favor of EG, how the turns table there. And now both teams are resetting. The bomb is on the ground. It can be planted, but they're not opting for it right now. Wow, what a good shot. 2v2 and the bomb is down.
All right, bomb is down. Boogers all alone once again. Gets spotted out. Boogers falls down, and just like that, it's EG that picked themselves up another round of search and destroy here, and they are quite close to be able to clutch in this one. All they need is 2 more, but EG looking so solid.
EG is, shame, poor Boogers. I feel we see him lost. His team is just like, they're running out trying to get kills and like, Boogers, you're gonna have to clutch. And it's like, guys, if you killed a few more, I could 1v2 clutch, but it's every time it's a 1v4, 1v3 clutch. So his team really maybe needs to slow it down a bit. We did talk about the aggression and the bombs not getting planted. Just slow it down, take a deep breather, and think about how you're taking this. EG has lost 1 player so far this round. Mies has taken only half of his health, so he's still in a good health condition. No, Bear gets taken out. Now it's a 4v4 situation again.
Steez takes down Mies. Gotta love to see it. At the moment, it is going to be a 4v4 situation, and the bomb has been planted here from this Cast Esports team. A great position for them to be able to be in, as now it's a 4v3, as Daddy Void does pick up that kill with the sniper rifle. Now it's going to be Steez trying to attempt to make his way in on the flank, but it does look like Cast have this locked down pretty nicely. Aegon will fall down. Now it is going to be a 1v4. Steez, as well as Boogie, probably have a lot to talk about being in these situations.
No, definitely do. And he's in this little window. He can hopefully find it out here. He finds 1 player, but a good trade there. And that is now, they are at least not. We play until 7, correct? Or 6?
Correct. Target is 7, unless we
go double overtime. Okay.
100%.
So yeah, that means that that Cast is still not too far off. It's not that it's just 1 round left, like we discussed earlier. This is losers bracket. So every round right now, every time you get closer to potentially losing a game, means that you are closer to completely getting knocked out, and hopefully that makes some fire under Team Cast. It seems like they are slowing it down a bit, as we mentioned. Good trade there. It's 4-4, and the bomb is going down early. Oh no, unfortunately, there's not enough cover from his team.
All right, so it's going to be Aegon, Alpha, as well as Kurai on their side of the teams. At the moment, Alpha picks up 1. Now the second follows through. Aegon picks up another kill. Aegon's on an absolute streak. I definitely want to keep an eye on him going forward. Currently on 18 eliminations. What an absolute beast.
And destroy. He's doing work for his team right now. Give that man a raise. He is the MVP of the team for the search and destroy. And let's keep an eye on him. Is he playing defensive? Is he rushing? Is he clearing? I'd really love to see that.
All right, so we stay on board with Aegon, currently sitting with the 18 eliminations. See if he spots players in this middle courtyard. Just working their way around at this point in time.
So he's playing mid. I mean, yeah, that's definitely the place you'll find a lot of kills, but it's also one of the most difficult areas to play, as you can get like angled from so many sides. So he's playing such a good game. He's constantly moving between cover. I know some people with Call of Duty, they don't always realize it is a cover shooter. As we saw that head glitch in the water earlier, really coming well. And now it's again, Cast actually now 5v2. They're doing well for themselves as they are slowing it down, which is so important. But Aegon is making that flank and hopefully he can find himself a few kills here again.
Oof. Gets called out on the flanking position at the moment. And there we go. Iris picks up the kill. So commentator's curse for Aegon, it seems like. As there we go. Cast Esports get themselves around. And now they need to or rather they're going to need to pick up 3 in quick succession to prevent their opposition, or at least to make that difference within 2. So now on the attacking side of things, it is still going to be this Cast Esports lineup. And let's see, these grenades are so crucial. Have they been putting in their homework? And it looks like Aegon comes down. Man just picked up a double.
Ooh. And Kure with his sniper as well, taking down one. And that is Cast down to 2v5 really early in the round to a nade and a sniper angle. That is not how you want to be losing a player so early on. And this is potentially the last round. Now it's a 1v5. He has a lot of weight on his shoulders right now. His team is like, please clutch it out, please. But at least I do believe the Cast have the 1-point lead in the overall grand scheme of things. And that just equalized it for EG. Well played to EG.
Yeah, well played, EG, as they pick up their first map of the series. We are going to go to map number 3, which will be some good old control action. But that search and destroy, EG showing their worth here, and Cast Esports realizing, guys, this is going to be a difficult one for us. And it's going to be an interesting map for map number 3, as their name is. Let's see if Brazil and him do well. But in this point in time, Aegon stood out as the MVP, coming up absolutely huge. I think it was 22 eliminations in Search and Destroy. I mean, everyone get on his back because he is carrying so hard right now.
He had more kills than his whole team combined, just as a fun fact. I did some quick maths. That is a lot of hard carrying. The rest of his team got 20 and he got 22. So he put in work and it paid off. That equalizes it for them. And now, like you said, we are going over to control. Such a great game mode, such a hybrid of both aggression and tactics. And we don't know the map yet. If the admins can confirm.
Crash, I believe it is going to be.
We talked about Crash last week as well. Also one of the classics.
So yeah, a classic map to go back to. I actually have my side of things. I've never seen it played throughout the series, throughout the entire Sub-Saharan African Call of Duty Mobile series. Have we seen a Crash on Control? So it should be an interesting one. And it is going to potentially be a differential between these two teams. EG Destroyers have an opportunity to take the lead on total map count for the very first time. We are currently tied up at 1 apiece before we go into this map number 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to find out from you, who do you think is going to be able to essentially come out with a win on this Control series? We saw in Respawn exactly how strong the team of Cast can be, but also, is it at this point in time where you start to get concerned if you're in Cast, are going, do we have our full team here? Do we feel that we're to our best ability? Do we need to make any phone calls and see if we can get our players subbed in for this map? Because this is going to be a big one.
Yeah, definitely. Is your battery fully charged? All of those types of things, So yeah, no, we have a Crash. I'm wondering where the control sites would be for Crash. It is a older Call of Duty game map, so I didn't have that in mind. But I'm guessing we'll probably be in the middle floor of that one building and then like outside. I'm excited to see how it's going to play. I just believe the developers made the right choices where it's going to be. So it's going to be a good time. And yeah, Crash. Such an interesting map. I think probably going to have a player playing at the high ground. You said just cutting off the Crash after the rotations and everything. That's such a powerful position, but the whole map can see him as well. So I'm excited to see how it goes. And yeah, now Cast, and it's equalized as well. So no team is going away now if they lose here. But if they do win, then they're at least a bit more comfortable. They only have to win one more and hopefully not go for the second Search and Destroy. So Cast, who just didn't perform too well on Search and Destroy, probably want to hopefully win this one, so they don't have to worry too much. I don't know. I'm just saying both these teams are probably like, okay, we have to win this one, because having that number differential advantage just makes you feel a bit more comfortable. Makes you feel like, okay, cool. We have a buffer we can rely on now. So let's see if they can which team is going to get themselves a buffer now.
Yeah, it's all about building that buffer, and I believe we got some information coming in from our team. Is that we're about to jump in, or do we need more time? I'm not too sure. Just let us know so we can communicate that. Might have missed that from my side of things. Do apologize. But it does look like map number 3 is inbound quite soon. We're just waiting for these teams to be able to get readied up. I'm just stoked that we're back into a 5v5 situation because let's be honest, when it comes down to casting 4v5, you always feel slightly like you can't get into it as much, and even from a viewership standpoint, because there's always, I don't want to say it's the excuse, but it's always the, hey, like,
what if?
We, yeah, exactly. And especially if it's a no-foul play of their own. I mean, if you have it in a different kind of circumstance of like if somebody got a red card, I don't know how you get that in mobile, then yes, it's a different circumstance altogether. But when it comes down to today, I'm very, very excited just to be able to see what this narrative is of these two teams. Map number 1, was it a fluke from Cast Esports? Or was that going to be the case regardless? I think a lot of that actually gets clarified right here, right now, as we go into respawn mode of control on Crash.
Oh, respawn on Crash. I'm excited to see this. But again, it's not a complete respawn. It's a hybrid respawn. You have limited lives, 30 lives on each side. And there we see, yep, indeed, it is in the top building there on A. Probably not the top. It's probably more like the middle of that building. Maybe even the bottom. No, it is the middle. Wow, I'm so good, man. I got like a... I should be a map designer or something. Anyway, here we see that they are committing onto A first. Usually, you know, you try and focus on one map. Checks, pre-aims that angle where you'd expect someone to be, but loses because that's such a nasty head glitch. And now Shaz also just checking out the back of the rotation. So many good lines of sight on this map.
Yeah, some great lines of sight when it comes down to Crash, but the biggest thing is that we need to concentrate on when it comes down to control. You both get a set amount of eliminations, 30 eliminations essentially, or 30 lives on the board. You have to try control one of 2 spots on the hill to be able to refresh time. If not, you run out of time, you run out of opportunity to be able to be in the game, and at this point in time, it does look like this team from Cast is going to have the numerical advantage, but they're going to need to make sure that they pick up some ticks on the board.
Definitely Cast right now, 7 life advantage, but no ticks. Cast is the one defending as well, so that means EG, they don't have a single tick yet, so they're really keeping EG off really well. That B side is really deep for EG to try and it looked like Cast, they're just forcing them to be in spawn and just like using up all their lives, and now EG is finally able to get out of it for a bit. Boogers right now getting a bunch of angles from the side here, playing it really well, gets a double kill and just really slowing down EG so much, giving EG no ground.
Yeah, and this is what we wondered. It's like when it comes down to respawn, can Cast stand toe to toe up against EG now when they're in a 5v5 situation? But Boogers just put in an absolute work. EG can't even find themselves really picking up any time on the clock. So, sure. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting series.
That was definitely insane and well played there by the team of Cast, keeping it off. Now, can EG do the same? Sometimes maps are just so one-sided for defense or attack. So now let's see what they're able to do. As we see, they are hard committing for this A here on side Cast, and so is EG. Oh, then, but Cast gets the first pick off, and that bodes well for them for getting points on the board.
Alright, so at the moment it is going to be Boogers that tries to make his way in, and now that the script has been essentially flipped, I'm quite interested to see how Cast can take this one, because it seems to be a map that does favor the defensive side of things, but it's all about just trying to be able to get these time on the hill, and it's not the easiest of hills to be able to find yourself with time on. They're fairly separated, so you almost have to play a little bit of a chess game between you and your opposition, making sure that those clear lines of communication are managed to make sure that essentially you're picking up every one of these players that are filtering through.
Definitely, and we see here now that they were pretty close to get onto A-Team Cast. They almost had a tick, but they did lose in the end, and now the lives are pretty equal. Actually, Cast now being 2 lives down at least, and they maybe need to commit to B, which we see on the minimap they have done. They are now hard committing onto B, and it looks like they're about to find themselves a tick. Unfortunately, EG left B open in their attempt to defend A, and that does not bode well, as they are getting a second tick, and a third tick for sure is coming in soon, as they are 3 on that side.
Alright, so at the moment, does look like B might get picked up here from Cast Esports. That's going to be huge, as it's a differential that becomes so important between these two teams. 1 minute 30 seconds left on the clock at this point in time. And look at this player number 4, it's Shaz, coming up from Cast Esports, trying to find their way in towards the site. And just been a little bit of a nuisance. Ooh, look at what they've brought out, the claw. And this becomes so dangerous. The claw. If anybody remembers a certain Jim Carrey movie, they'll remember the claw.
The claw. Does
there
the
we
claw
go.
bounce? Bullets bounce? What
It
is
does.
Okay, I thought as much. I mean, that close quarters, it could do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, you did not find a lot of kills with it. Look at that interesting placement of the trophy system, so that nades can be kept out. And now Cast is slowly but surely moving in. And look how player 5 is just actually causing havoc. Player 5 and 3 is causing havoc for EG. They are completely keeping them off the map.
Oh, now look at this for EG at this point in time, and you got to say that Iris is doing so well. Thorn in the side, inside the spawns, 3 lives left in the side of EG, and this might be a quick one from Cast Esports if they keep it up. And just like that, boom, 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 Mies bounces bullets off against the bodies of one another and finds himself with another round win here. Cast Esports looking solid.
That was really well played there. We had 2 players on the side, obviously defending, well, attacking. But the way that player 5 and 3, that being Mies and Iris, just completely shut down the flow from EG, was so well done to secure them that. And right now, it does seem like Cast to have the respawn games in the bag. That is going to be a pretty difficult thing for EG to deal with, as the next game is going to be hardpoint again. But it's not over yet. They might find the rhythm. Ooh, we see a sniper here.
That's brave.
That is brave, but he finds a kill with it. If you have a comfort in a sniper, if you're a confident sniper, that is one of the most devastating guns in the game. And he does find that kill with it. And here we see EG also. They are going on the offensive right now. They want to get this game. They want to equalize it just a bit more.
All right, so at the moment, 26 to 21 in terms of life left available in favor of Cast. None of the sites have any ticks on them, so EG need to be able to break their way out of spawn here. They need to be able to go in as a team and as a unit, and they get 2 eliminations on the clock. Now it's going to be an opportunity for them to be able to push through, and that's going to really be reliant here on, I believe that was player number 3, being able to make their way in. And let's see what they're going to be able to do. They finally get onto this A site, and they get some time of their own. But you can see what Cast Esports really want to do. They want to get into the spawn of the opposition and just become a nuisance and whittle down those lives and make life really, really difficult for them as everyone's trying to get towards the site.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's clearly been working for them. EG could maybe take a few notes here from the opposition right now, but at least they have A, it seems like, in the bag. Now, the question is A or B the more difficult side? It's been tough to say so far, but I do think B, with how deep it is on the defender side, is going to be pretty difficult. Ooh, that was well played there by Mies, getting that double kill on that angle with a P90. But that is A down, and now they just have to worry about B. Now, how they're going to approach B, they have to be careful. They need to try and, like we saw earlier, cut off those rotations for the defending team, or else they're not going to get themselves some ticks here, or even the point, because they have 1 minute and 5 seconds to work with.
I like this call out, and I like this play here from Boogers. Just being able to pick up the heighted position. Probably not the best weapon to be able to do it with the Bison in hand, but he's still making it look easy at this point in time. The Annihilator is also building up. At the moment, you can see the lives falling down here from EG, and with 45 seconds left on the clock, they might have bitten themselves off more than they can chew. However, that being said, Aegon is trying to push through, picks himself up a double, currently sitting with 12 eliminations in the back pocket. Mies has been relentless with 16, but it's really actually been Iris, that thorn in the side for EG, that's currently sitting on 20 eliminations.
20 eliminations, that's a lot of eliminations. Again, there are limited lives, and I think it's a 1v9, and there is just no chance that's going to work out. And that is a clean 3-0 for Cast. So Cast is here saying, hey, game 1 was not a fluke. We are serious. If it was a 5v5, we would have won it, and we just showed what we are capable of here in Control. So well played by them.
Really, really well played. And I mean, we got to see our very first taste of Crash, and I've got to say, it's quite a scary map in a lot of ways. I mean, those sites are very, very far and few between, so you find yourself, if you get into the back line of your opposition, you can just wreak havoc. And at that point in time, from the side of EG, they just weren't able to stand toe-to-toe here. But on the other side, Cast Esports now feeling a little bit more confident. They're 1 map away from securing this and going into the hard point with some respawns to be able to play. They've got a little bit of more confidence that they're building up.
Definitely, and that's a good thing to have. You know, after losing that S&D, it might, again, we've talked about momentum and the mental, and winning this Control might just get your momentum back or just reset it. So both teams now hopefully on an equal ground, being like, okay guys, we now have 1 more hard point and 1 more potential search and destroy. So if your team EG, you're saying, hey, last time we played Control, we were 4. We can do this. We're a great team. We do this together. And now if you're on the side of Cast, they'll be like, hey, we won last time. But maybe surely in the back of their mind, like, they were 4. So let's not be too confident. Let's play our best. Let's not give them an inch or else they might take the whole meter or the whole mile or yard, however that saying goes.
Yeah, well, take an inch, take a yard, take a mile. Either way, they're taking whatever opportunities they can take from their side of things. Now going into this next map, it's a map that I love, actually, when it comes down to hard point. Slums is where we're going to be going to, and such a good hard point map overall in terms of rotations, how you need to be able to manage your anchor points. It's going to be a map that, to be honest, if people have been doing their homework, if they know how to be able to play this map, then they should be able to stand tall and not necessarily worry about the eliminations as much as the positional play, which becomes absolutely crucial.
Definitely, and yeah, Slums, we talked about it again. It's just one of those great maps. The points are so well spread out and so both manageable and attackable. We have spawns we can eliminate or manipulate. And, you know, it's not just about getting on the sites. It's about making sure that you get the people off of those spawn spots so you can spawn there, so you can go retake the site. So it's a lot of dynamics. Like you said, doing your homework really makes it you can win. So let's see which team did the most homework as they are getting ready for Game 4 now. Hardpoint on Slums. Ooh, gonna be a good time.
Going to be a good time indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a part of the good time, make sure that you just jump into the chat, slap that like button as well as the subscribe button wherever you're watching from your side of things. A big welcome to you. It's going to be a fun day throughout, as we still got one more match to be able to commentate and bring to you after this. As when it comes down to this series, if you're just joining us, currently sitting 2-1 in favor of Cast. And gotta say, both of these teams, they don't want to let it go. It does look like we might even have a map 5 on the line here.
Ooh, map 5 would be great. Like we said, this is the losers bracket. So if there's any time you want to go map 5, it'll be right now. Because if you go out, you're out. You're gonna fight tooth and nail to the very end. And here we see both teams are in 2-1, and that first point in that middle beautiful circle statue is gonna be where the first action starts.
All right, the first action's about to get underway at the moment, and let's see how these two teams are going to be able to start things off. One of the big things is you actually do want to be able to push the pillars as well as the house on either side. Being able to get those cross angles in towards the middle courtyard is absolutely huge, and also Wallace just being able to control that statue on top side. But at the moment, it's going to be Shaz throwing in those grenades, trying to essentially work into the side here as EG and Cast are going to be able to get some points on the board. But you can see what Alpha wants to be able to prioritize here. Those spawns are so important.
They definitely are. And here we see Alpha gets a good angle, but unfortunately only finds one. But he does do damage for his team. Good teamwork right now. But Mies is now on the side getting some points for his team. Actually not, is being contested. And EG right now are pulling ahead there, but not by a large margin. Now this is a great trade, especially for this first one. Both teams like basically on the same points, and they just keep overwhelming the sites, but they're defending just as well. This is beautiful to watch. No team just running away on this first point. Last time we were on this map, one team did run away with it. And just shows that these teams, again, they are playing for this game right now. They do not want to take any chances.
All right, so now at the moment it's quite close, but at the moment EG is holding the most important space on the map, the back spawns, and for P2 this becomes so crucial. At the moment you can see the filtering in players from Cast. They have to do a full retake and they need to do this as a team. At the moment Aegon does so well to be able to come out with 2 eliminations, and the spawns are coming out all on the right hand side of the house. At the moment Mies, unfortunately, despite getting 1 kill, it won't be enough as all those players essentially still filtering through, and this is why spawns are so big on this map.
Definitely, but Cast did actually overwhelm them. Even though they didn't have the spawn, they just overwhelmed the site. They took it, and now they're getting a lot of points on the board, and they know where they're spawning now. Even though sometimes it could be an advantage spawn, but sometimes they know where you're spawning, so now they might be able to keep them off pretty well. 1 knife kill so far for Rogue, but that's not going to be enough. Daddy Void does trade it off at least. Well played there, and we see here that Iris is already on the next hard point, already knowing that, hey, more points is coming.
Yeah.
And look at these scores, 40-40.
Yeah, so P3 and P4 is absolutely huge as well. If you control statue, I believe that's player number 1 and that's making their way towards it at the moment. It becomes such a pivotal role because essentially you hold spawns for 2 specific hard points, which allows you just to be able to get much more time on the board. And this is going to be, I believe, this is Mies rather, sorry. So that's Mies that comes out on top of that one and is doing so well to be able to hold that heal. And Daddy Void just whips out the Annihilator as he sees that they get overwhelmed, and it looks like they're going to lose out on spawns as EG take over that space. And that was perfectly played. This is going to give them the opportunity to work their way into the heal.
They definitely. I don't know if they're going to get on the hill, but then with this new spawn, they could guarantee themselves a lot of point on the next hill. Sometimes it's not about the immediate points, it's about the future points, you know, think about the big picture. And it seems that EG did think about the big picture, but now it seems that Cost is also, they know that that's the big picture thinking they were trying to do, and they now have control of that spawn again. But now EG is on the point, getting themselves, not even scraps, 15 seconds worth that they've seen that they're going to get a lot of points. But now it's that P4, hill 4 that need to work with, and they don't have the spawn advantage that Cost has. So now let's see what they're able to do. Again, scores are pretty close. Both teams are basically on 70.
All right, so very, very, very close, as it is a back and forth between both of these teams. They don't want to give it up. Neither team wants to relent at this point in time. Rogue is going to fall down inside the hill. Cast do look like they're going to come up with a numerical advantage here. And once again, it's the claw doing work as the players from EG are filtering in through the mid-map. Oh, sprays, breaks, and gets the kills.
Yo, that's the gun definitely to help you get those types of kills into the smoke, especially that little tight area there that they had to rotate through. Reread the rotation or the spawn so well, and now again it seems EG is getting kept off of this point so well, but they're not giving it up at all. They're going together as a team. Look how close they are for the trades, but unfortunately they are losing their trades right now, and now it is Steez that's not actually committing. He's holding back to see if he can get a few pickoffs so they can trade a bit more effectively. But unfortunately now it seems Cast is pulling ahead right now, and right now the next point is going to be statue in middle again, and they need to start thinking about how they are going to deal with that situation.
Yeah, and this is at the moment where EG really needs to turn around. At least they've got spawns currently on the next hill, but this is going to be a pivotal role. How is Cast going to be able to play this? It's going to be so difficult to break at the moment. Alpha finds himself in a fantastic position. Shares, however, will trade that out. Needs to go into cover just to be able to work some more room in for their teammate. At this point in time, Alpha will be able to come up on top of that trade, and it still looks like this is where EG are pulling some points back. This is huge for them.
Right now, definitely is. Iris almost found himself an opening there, but unfortunately EG's defense was just too good there. Oh, Alpha actually over peeking right now there. He did not maybe need to peek that angle the way he did. He exposed himself a lot, and that allows Mies to get onto the side, and now he's playing it so well, but he gets picked off as well. Such a trade right now, but it seems all of these points is going to EG, and that should equalize them, put them in a bit more comfortable space. But now they need to start thinking about the next point again. Are they going to try and commit for that spawn, or just got to get some more points? It seems that Cast knows that they want the next point already.
Yeah, and it looks like Cast got the rotations this time around, and previously it was EG that had the early rotations. Cast managed to come up with a break late into the heel. Let's see what EG is going to be able to do on the opposite side. They pick up one. Now Daddy Void is just sitting outside of Junk. Will be able to pick up one kill of his own on the left-hand side. It is still Void sitting outside of Dumpster. Ooh, gets picked off the head glitch. However, his teammates come in clutch to be able to pick up those eliminations. Only 40 points is what separates these teams. But now it's all about how is EG going to push. I like that they're consolidating their position and all deciding to push in as a team. They go for the back alley push, which will give them spawns. Now it's all about Cast. Can they try pick up the eliminations here down Long Street? Player number 5 is in a very difficult position. Aegon will fall down. However, it's Mies that comes up clutch on side of that point. The claw comes out just to be able to be the sweep that essentially clears the space, as EG, unfortunately for them, can't break the hill.
It's still 25 seconds left on the hill, and they are seeming to try and break it now. They got a few good picks, but not enough. Unfortunately, they're getting kept off. Cast right now, getting a lot of points on this hill. And here we see Iris already prioritizing the next hill. Such a good early rotation. So early. There's a score streak being called in. And now EG, they need to find player 1 and 3 is also coming to back him up right now, as they realize they have got all the points. Scraps for EG on points on the previous point, and now it's looking pretty dangerous right now. And I do believe Cast is the team with the 2-1 lead. So if they take this one, they take the series. And that is definitely affecting EG right now. They have to play their best. They are not too far behind. They can still do this.
All right, they can definitely still do this. It's just if they pull it off is the question at the moment. EG are fighting tooth and nail for their life in the competition. Remember, when it comes down to total map score, it is currently 2-1 in favor of Cast. So they are only a few points, and they can potentially, no, my math ain't good. They won't be able to take it off this hill alone. It is all about this anchor point that Boogers get swept off of, and now EG are trying to roll their way in. However, they still need time on the hill. So that balance between taking players off of anchor points versus hill, at the end of the day, it's not playing into EG's favor. All right, so at the moment, with 235 points in the back pocket, it's going to be EG with a very much an uphill struggle. They need to get 150 while preventing their opposition. The hill at the moment, Cast are going to try and make their way in. This will be potentially their final push of the game. Aegon says no, not today. Keeps them out, all alone at this point in time inside of the hill, as Daddy Voids picks himself up too. Points will keep on building in their back pocket with 10 seconds left on the clock. It is going to be Cast Esports that look to be able to secure this one. The claw comes out, Iris gets on going, and just like that, it is Cast Esports that take the series and take their opportunity to take on Valensis in the very next round.
That was intense.
Very intense. All right, so look at that. Having a look on the board, it is going to be 38 eliminations in the back pocket of Mies. I'd say MVP of the series so far. Really, really coming out on top of that one. And Cast Esports can hold their head up high here as they continue their run here in the lowest bracket. We do, unfortunately, have to say goodbye to EG, who have now essentially fallen out of the competition. And like to thank every single one of them for joining us here in this invitational. It has been a blast. But, Daddy, when it comes down to what we can expect now, we've got Incognito taking on NATO Gaming, a game that is sure to delight us when it comes down to our spectating. All right, it does look like we've lost Daddy Cool. Unfortunately, maybe ESCOM, maybe it's internet. I'm not too sure why we've lost him. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut to a short break as we get ready for this game number 2. It is going to be Incognito taking on NATO. Make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Cheers. Right, everybody, welcome back here to the Call of Duty Sub-Saharan Africa Championship. I'm joined by Daddy Cool, and this is, of course, presented by the good folks up right over there. How do I point towards them? Carry first. They're over here. How do we do that?
There you go.
But Daddy Cool, how you doing, my dude?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. That first game of the losers bracket was so much fun. It was so intense, so close.
Yeah.
And then, we saw Cast pulling it away at first. We thought it was maybe a fluke on that game one just because they had the number advantage. But in the end, they showed why they had the number one seeding. So fun to watch. Well played by both teams. EG put up a hell of a fight. And yeah, unfortunately, EG is out now, though. We discussed if you're out now, you're out. This is losers bracket, baby.
Well, it's very exciting. The very next game in the losers bracket round 2, where Cast Esports have progressed into, its number 1 and 2 seed Valencia taking on Cast Esports. So that should be an exciting one. And then on the other side of things, the match that we're preparing for right now is Incognito taking on NATO Gaming, which also should be a spicy meatball. Looking forward to being able to see what we can get going on that side of things. And then the winner of this game will essentially take on Rage Esports. So this is what we mentioned a bit earlier. This is like, you're about to get knocked down into the pit where this is your last life in the competition. This is potentially where they finish move you. I'm going to give you a little bit of a Mortal Kombat reference on that side of things. Yeah. Fatality. Anyway, so on that side of things, let's see who gets essentially thrown into the pit and who gets to stay among essentially the flames that are burning at this point in time, whereas everybody's sitting pretty currently. Well, it's rather Zero Remorse as well as Cyclone Gaming on the top side of things, where they're just like, you know what, we're chilling. We've got our lives in the back pocket. We're relaxing. How are you feeling though, Daddy? Are you relaxing?
I'm relaxing. I'm good. Wait, sorry, did we get something from
Oh, yeah, we actually, guys, we got in some information here. It doesn't look like anybody from the NATO lineup has joined into the lobby. So on that note, they have passed their expiry time or their warranted time to be able to play. And that is very sad because that means from Incognito's side, they will get a direct progression through to face up against Rage. NATO, unfortunately, will fall out of the tournament at this point in time. And that is going to be essentially that for that game. So a bit disappointing, isn't it, Daddy?
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. We were preparing ourselves to get ready for this game. We saw NATO a bit last week, and we know, again, you play a bit differently when you have a bit of fire, a bit of spicy meatball underneath you. Sounds uncomfortable. But yeah, so unfortunately now we have no game to cast for the second part of today. As the losers bracket round 2 starts only next week, Thursday. Does it mean that's us for today?
Yeah, so that is that. I mean, I hate to end it on a little bit of a somber note, but that is that for right now. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. We at least got to see one hell of a series when it came down to that losers bracket round 1. And now Cast Esports progress on the opposite side of things. EG falls to the side. But once again, I know it's a bit of a somber ending, but Daddy, it has been an absolute pleasure being able to cast with you again, good sir. perhaps we'll see you on Thursday side of things, or we'll bring in through the other casters. I'm not too sure, but we do have the finals, the last week, actually taking place next week, and that should be a fiery series.
Yeah, that's where it's make or break. That is where the winner is chosen. That determines how much money you're taking home in the bag. So that's definitely the one that we're going to be seeing. So excited for that. Thank you for having me again, Holden. It's been an absolute pleasure casting a game 1 with you. Unfortunately, missing game 2, but pleasure as always, and the pleasure is all mine. Yes.
It's a bit of that. It's okay. Everybody go enjoy your Saturdays. Go have a great one on that side of things. And hopefully we'll be catching you quite soon, as next week, Thursday, we're getting into, I believe, the next round of the losers bracket. Then it's all about setting that final stage, the road to the finale. I believe that is going to be taking place next week. Let me just double check our dates here that I've got. It is going to be the 3rd and 4th of December. So next week we actually have 3 streams. We've got the 1st, the 3rd, and the 4th of December, where it's all going to go down. So stay tuned right here with us on this side of things, where it is, of course, the Call of Duty Sub-Saharan African Championship, brought to you by Call of Duty Mobile, as well as Carry First, and taking you home all the way with the good things and the good games. It's Call of Duty as well as ACGL. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic Saturday. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.